cheeky bit of Game of Thrones. Yeah, so Game of Thrones is a game that I struggle with actually because um, usually because my lists are super predictable or whatever. But like I always find when the cards that turn off NCUs or attachments come out, like I always feel like I end up getting crippled. So it's a game that mode that I really need some practice with. Yeah, one of you is welcome to jump on if you want. Aye, if you fancy coming doing some chatting. Yeah, some of them are pretty heavily weighted on the like. So if you think about something like the turning off an NCU or turning off an NCU like Walder, that's 5 points out of a game straight away. Attachments, 2, 3 points. You know, it's well, I mean, 3 points is big for an attachment, but if you're paying for someone like Ramsey, which you probably wouldn't, but two's not unreasonable to pay. Oh, hello George, welcome. Two's not unreasonable to pay for an attachment. That's mega strong, but then you get ones that are like, and realistically, every list has an NCU, and every list usually has at least one attachment. It's very rare to see an attachment. Um, very rare to see a list without an attachment of any variety. So something like that against something like an enemy make a panic test. You know what I mean? Like against a lot of lists with high morale, which quite often are the case. Stark's got good morale. Lannisters have got a lot of good morale units. Night's Watch have got good morale. The Baratheons have got great morale. It's just a very, you know, like you say, it's weighted to one end. So especially, and I seem to have had a couple of games where I get, um, I get the how do I describe it? I get both of the good objectives on one side and both of the rubbish objectives on the other, um, and it makes that decision for taking side or taking objective even harder to do. Right. Right. And as really close match this morning, 12-11 came right down the last turn. Man, the Rise was a house for me. Yeah, yeah. So you know what it is? I've never actually. So I've owned them since day one. Since I bought well, actually no, I tell a lie. Since I paid for them, my friend, my gaming group bought us a Freefolk starter set to start the game. But I've had Mountain That Ride since the very start of playing, and I've never used them because Scott Seno, the one of the other hosts, point blank refused to play against them. He said, if you put them on the table, I'm not playing them. So I just never used him. He's a cool model though. Yeah, so that's the reason. So Scott said he's not in organised play. We shouldn't be playing him on the table. I mean, if we're just having a bit of fun, I suppose. But um, he's not in organised play because he's stupidly good as well. Um, I told you because in Foxtrot Oscar playing Mountain that right. Yeah, again, yeah. He did basically no damage, but was ridiculous to kill. And to double team was chances. Yeah, I mean that's surprising because obviously the champions of the stag are decent. I mean they're not super killy, but Rose Knights you can just pop wounds for fun, can't you? Unless they're full health already. Yeah. Well, Zednas, there you go. And it's just like one of those things. It's feast or famine. Right, so I'm just going to zoom in on the table a little bit. So I'll go from JJRockin side just so you can see the deployment. I'm loving these new dice trays as well. Like, they're absolutely fantastic. 2 seconds. Let's see. I don't know. I can have a quick look. So I don't know. Oh, you know what it is. I'm such an idiot. It is being run on stats, isn't it? So I'll go and check that out. Give it 2 seconds. See, this is the hard thing about having doing it on your own because oh, well, I suppose Duggan's coming now, so that's all right. So tournaments: Assault on River Run, Australia, New Zealand. Player standings. So we've got Mickey is currently 14th. He's 3-4-29, and JJRockin is 19th with 3-4-25. So realistically, it's only secondary kill points that he's a little bit behind on. He's quite a similar standing. Let's see what list he's got. So he's got a Renly list with Wardens, Rose Knights, Rose Knights, Rose Knights, Brienne, Shira and Marjorie. So he's got both his lists are 2 NCUs. I think he's going to struggle. So Stannis list is Stannis' Wardens, Baratheon Wardens, Zorse Riders and Zorse Riders, and Shira Errol. That's interesting. I would quite like to see how that plays out. Yeah. So Zorse Riders. So I've not found a place for them in my games yet, but right. So it looks like Mickey plays the first objective. 2 seconds, Doug. I'll just come into the NSS channel in the general. Right. I'm just wait for Benjamin to join me.
Alright, lads.
All right.
Hopefully this is working.
Yep. I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
Do you want to pull me in the game?
Just have you got me on Steam? Send us your just as a private message on Discord. Just send us your Steam friend code, and I'll add you, and then you can just join on me. All right?
Yeah. Yeah. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. So we've got quite like almost like your 5 dice deployment for what objectives here. Obviously, we haven't picked sides yet. So I think we're wanting to place as a course pilot underneath an objective by the look of it. Did we see Mickey's list? So what is Mickey's list? He's got... Also, we went with the Zorse Rider list as well. That's interesting. I'm looking forward to see how these work. Let me see. So we've got... the classic. So Harmer with 4 units of Raiders, 3 units of Trappers, and a unit of Spearwives with the Jarl. So this unit of Spearwives with the Jarl is actually a really good sneaky little surprise unit. Absolutely fantastic because they don't come in activated. So really good for getting cheeky rear charges off. Good against powerhouse units like Rose Knights. Oh, Zemnas, if that came out, that would be a naughty little card. Do you see turn Douglas up a little bit? Okay. Right, there we go. And then we've got Steam friend code. Nearly there, guys. Just gotta get Douglas into the game. Right, and off we go. So, reveal this mission at the start of any turn. To the end of the round, gain 1 victory point each time an enemy combat unit is destroyed. Not much of that are going to be happening in the first turn.
Does just give us the password so I can get in.
Yeah, I'll send you it now, mate.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Right. So we've got 2 bogs, corpse pile and a palisade. So we are looking at almost straight down the centre, a bit of control over the centre objective. So we've got review this mission at the start of any round and set 1 objective. Score this mission if you control that objective with an unengaged friendly unit at the end of round. We've got review this mission when an enemy combat unit destroys a friendly unit. Score this mission when that enemy unit is destroyed. So these first 2 are not really going to be very useful early on for at least for. Or actually, I tell a lie, because we can't score this. We can't score objectives until round 2, anyways.
Well, yeah, it's true actually.
Do us a favour, Dougs. Will you just mute both of the other players?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, cheers, man.
That should all be done now. Right, I can't hear him talking. That's good.
Good stuff. Right, so what we're thinking lists-wise then, Dougs, we've got a very classic Freefolk. Although one thing that I'm interested to see is no skin changes. And we know that skin changers are very powerful currently because of what they make available, in the sense that you're quite easily able to create roadblocks with them. But personally, I think something that's overlooked quite a lot is the rerolling charges and ignoring the difficult terrain, especially in this setup here. Ignoring difficult terrain, hazardous, dangerous, all that kind of stuff.
It's pretty good. I think he's gone. I mean, he is spamming insignificant, which has definitely got to be taken into consideration. Although, am I right in thinking this is? No, this is this Game of Thrones or is this
No,
Secret?
it's Dark Words, yeah.
Right, so that's not going to play as big a factor into it. But
So the insignificant actually is almost taken out by the fact that he's got the first one of the first cards that's drawn is reveal this card at the start of any turn. Until the end of that round, gain 1 victory point each time an enemy combat unit is destroyed. So that insignificant essentially disappears. It does.
yeah, that's out quite nicely.
So that's worked out well for JJRockin. That means that insignificant isn't so much of a problem. However, it does mean that his units are going to be worth 2 VP each for each one that dies. He's got 3 units of wardens, I think, and wardens can take a hit. They're strong. They don't have warden what they call the Warden Captains or
Ah,
Warden.
the Warden Sentinels,
Yeah, the
denying the charge
Master Warden.
bonus.
Yeah, so they've got one Master Warden here. We've got one unit of Wardens with Stannis in, which I think he grants crit blow. Is it? Is the rifle is? Yeah, he grants crit blow, and they can't gain condition tokens. And then he's just got two. So he's
2
got
units of Source Riders.
yeah. So he's got a Lord of Dragonstone in each of the Zorse Riders as well. So Lord of Dragonstone is
Grant's counter charge, which is obviously fantastic.
Yeah, after another friendly unit, long run. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
free
almost
charge.
become
So free charge or maneuver, which is pretty interesting. So I'm wondering if he's just trying to use it as like a hyper mobile force. I think if he does manage to start getting, I mean, he's got Melisandre here, which is going to cause a big problem to the Freefolk. And what he needs to do, I think, with Melisandre, essentially, is to just try and get rid of Harmer's unit as soon as possible to stop that ability to recycle the cards, because obviously Harmer's ability to redo cards.
Darkwing highlight Darkwing's Dark Word does ignore the 1 point per unit kill, because it's all based on the objective cards you actually draw. I expect to see that that objective card of 1 victory point for each time an enemy combat unit is destroyed. Mickey's going to replace that as soon as he possibly can. But Melisandre is going to have to bomb down that unit of Freefolk Raiders as fast as possible with Hammer in it.
Yeah, so Harmer, and just remember we've got a potential of doing up to 7 wounds with one shot. So I mean, realistically, if you drop Melisandre onto the crowns, you've got a chance of taking out most of a unit in one go, which is.
I think that's a really good way to use it, but the way I'd prefer him to use it at the minute is to drop it straight onto moneybags. So you deal 3 wounds to yourself, instantly heal them up, deny your heal for your opponent as well. If you can do that first and second turn, I don't know who first player is at the minute. That's going to be
undecided current.
Yeah.
No, it'll be So it must be JJRockin because he's 1 unit ahead for deployment.
So I think I actually like his list. There's 3 units of Wardens as your central sort of anvil, and then you've got 2 units of very hypermobile Zorse Riders, which can go around the flanks, get the positions they need to, come in through rears and charge. I think it's going to be less useful against a Freefolk player, just from the amount of units that are on the board.
Right.
But definitely in a Baratheon mirror match, being able to get Zorse in the back of units, such as Road Knights. So that suddenly makes a massive difference.
Totally. I mean, not just Rose Knights. So obviously one of the special things about the Zorse Riders is if you can get into a flank or a rear, you can't use orders or friendly tactics cards on that unit. So that you can turn off big units like say Ranger Hunters. Is it no Ranger Hunters? No Ranger Trackers. You can't be handed now vulnerable. You're going to be able to turn off things like Stagnite Nobles if you're using them. If you're crazy enough, you're going to be turning off. Let's see who's some big orders. Things like
any of the
Tyrion.
any of the on death effects as well from cards. So the North Remembers, Take the Black. Any of them, suddenly Zorse Riders are going to be creating massive problems for. I think we are now seeing the downside to playing Freefolk. If you look at Mickey's deployment zone, it's just filled.
Yeah, but remember that unit that he's keeping to one side there is staying off because that can be deployed, anyway. That can
it's going to jump on from the side, and it won't use its activation, which is
as long as he's got the horses. So JJRockin's going to have to. So this is one of the problems with 2 NCUs versus 3, and I know this from playing 2 NCUs a lot myself. that you end up very torn between taking what you need and trying to deny what the opponent needs. And it can often cause you quite a lot of mischief. But I mean, one of the things that we're looking at here is 3 units of trappers. Now, trappers are notoriously good at the moment, and even if you're just using, so we've got. Have we got Mickey going first? No. So Mickey must have went first, but used his. Because it's saying it's Masarath's turn. I don't know why I popped up with that.
I don't know. TTS does some weird stuff sometimes when
But
it comes to turn
yeah.
orders.
So we need to wait for whoever to choose. So it was obviously JJ who picked deployment side. Mickey's chose to go first. And he's taking the horse. And he's placing steer on one of the units of Horse Riders. So as we all know, steer D3 hits at the end of the round. They get to do an extra load of wounds on an attack if he is if he's actually on a unit that's attacked or makes an attack. Sorry. And I like Mickey's choice to go first for getting rid of the this. The 1 point each time an enemy combat unit is destroyed. I feel like that's going to make a big difference to him because his units are typically a lot more fragile. I wonder whether or not he's going to play aggressive enough to try and wait it out though.
So I do have a question, and
Yeah.
it's one that probably chat will after. So the third mission, as you look at them from Mickey's side, the score this mission if you control that objective with an enemy. Who decides which objective gets chosen for that?
So I believe I'm not sure if it's first player or each player, because I know when there's one for marking a unit, each player gets to. So Mickey's chose this one, and by the looks of it, we'll find out from chat. Yeah, so we've got mixed. Use a turn counter politics. Source. I thought it was both as well.
So it looks like Mickey's chosen it. He's chosen this one next to right in front of the palisade. So immediately horses to move up, march straight on that. Easy 3 score on his first turn. Puts him in a already up 3 on your opponent when I don't think there's going to be a lot of retaliation this turn.
No.
Oh wait, have they both been? No, I'm sorry, they've both been able to choose.
Yes, yeah. So
yeah. So ignore everything I just said. I'm talking absolute nonsense.
But remember, sacrificing 1 unit for Mickey, sacrificing a unit every turn to sit on an objective is a lot easier for him than it is for JJ. Just purely because of the sheer amount of units that he has available to him. So he's currently got a 3 unit activation advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so he's got a 3 unit activation advantage plus an extra NCU. So it's all about him taking. So we're going to see Shira on the. Yeah, thought I was Melisandre for a second there. So we're going to see Shira on the cards. She gets to heal a condition if there was one available, but there's not. She also gets to draw 2 cards and put a condition down. So let's see where she puts a condition.
I think the condition's probably the weakest thing at the minute. Like, he's not looking to stack weakened or vulnerables anywhere. I think he's purely maybe a panic.
So panicked on
Harmer's unit.
Harmer's unit would probably be my bet.
I think more than anything, he's trying to fill his hand, get all his Baratheon cards as quickly as he can.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm surprised that he's list actually, because we all know that Baratheons have got a powerhouse NCU who can really help fill a hand. You know what I mean? Is it Estamon?
Estamon,
So draw 3, put 1 at the bottom of your deck.
I mean, having Esteban in your lineup literally means that you don't have to worry about ever taking letters. It negates that from you, so you're constantly able to fill your hands, which is what Baratheons want to do.
Yeah.
And if your opponent takes letters, you go, okay, well, I'll take something that you definitely want later.
Yeah. So we're seeing Mance Raider go down on to the crowns, and one of Mance's influence effects is he gets the placing condition. So he's sticking panic down on this unit of wardens, and I believe it's just the master warden, yeah. And they're going to take a panic test at -1. So I believe that's a hard pass. Wardens start at 6+, so it would have been a 7+ to pass. So
Don't think he's going to use the reroll. I think he's going to try and stack tokens on units so Mance can really start crippling
yeah,
units when he gets the full effects up there.
yeah, that would make sense. It also is going to reduce these guys to speed 3, which is going to really hurt them this turn. I know it doesn't, 2 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're already only moving 8 inches at a full march, it's a big hit. So we're seeing Melisandre go down. We're going to see 3 models get chipped away, most likely because they're going to heal straight back up again. So you'll probably not even take them off. And then we're going to see a panic test at a grand total of -3. So we're going to see Harmer's unit. I'm presume it would make a lot of sense for Harmer's unit because one of the big, the shtick of this list is being able to recycle Harmer's very strong cards. So don't be surprised if you see Mickey dropping a lot of cards out of his hands, especially ones that look good. And it's purely because Harmer can pick them back up. Or maybe if he uses them where you might think there would probably be a more opportune moment to use them. So let's just wait to see what Mickey rolls for his panic test. So we're going to be, I think Raiders start on 8. So we're going to be looking at a 11+.
11 with a panic token on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's a big ask.
So ideally for JJ, we just want to see a fail and the 3 straight away, like that. Because that's 7 models straight away. He doesn't need to spend the panic token, so it's there for later on. So that's that couldn't have went better for JJ really. He's kept his panic token, and he has he's maintained his he's done maximum damage to that unit with a panic test. So another one of those, and that unit really is probably going to be.
Oh yeah, he's got first activation, second turn, so that could be Melisandre activates first, takes the zone that he actually wants, blows up the unit in the process, and is already in good stead.
And with the -3 models from his unit, regardless of what he rolls on the number of the D3, the unit's going to die. So, so we're seeing Mickey. So something that we talked about a little bit earlier on, one of these sort of almost not pointless, but unnecessary activations that aren't going to impact Mickey's game hugely. He's happy to do so. He's sticking this unit down now. He's taking this unit down, making a movement with them, getting them on the objective. They're going to stay there for a significant amount of time, which is most likely to happen. But he's just trying to play out JJ's activations, so he can choose his activations a bit more. Be a bit more specific with his. So I've had this trade problem before as well. It's quite annoying. So the only thing that you can do is end it and then move it back forwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Carlo.
I mean, this is the strength we're seeing with Freefolk, with Starks at the minute. The idea that you can delay your important activations, so you can watch your opponent's plan unfold, and therefore you're having the most information available to you.
Yeah.
Which is a huge bonus in these games.
I'm just going to quickly swap some colours because I've got the names the wrong way around. Pink. Cool.
So I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I imagine somebody in chat. What's the interaction between Lady Val and Jarl? because obviously Jarl comes in when you take the horses.
Mhm.
Lady Val replaces his own effect with the horse effect.
So
I'm assuming that won't allow you to
yeah.
trigger.
So it's just the effect. It's not the So it doesn't. So it's with the effect of the horse instead. So it doesn't mean that you claim the horse, and because obviously some of the cards rely on you having the horse as well. So it just allows you to basically use a different zone's effect. You don't count as claiming it, so you can't use that for yours sort of activation as such. His placement on the board. I wouldn't expect to see Mickey to bring Jarl in until turn 2, maybe turn 3 anyways.
Yeah, I mean, at the minute he can afford to just hold it off the board, have it there as a persistent threat.
So Carl was asking for submissions. So first mission we've got, so this is turn 1, so they're not in play yet, but until the end of the round, gain 1 victory point each time an enemy combat unit is destroyed. We've got 2 points when an enemy combat unit destroys your unit, and then you destroy it. And then we have the select an objective. It's worth 3 VPs at the end of the turn if an unengaged unit is on it. So Colo, Mickey's unit of trappers over here are standing on the objective that he chose, and we've got JJRocking's unit of wardens here, which actually have activated. It doesn't matter because turn 1, but you know this is the objective that he's chosen. So we're looking at currently, so the list is quite strange. It's something that I'm not used to seeing. We've got 1 unit of Wardens, Master Warden, 1 unit of Wardens of Stannis, a plain unit of Wardens, and then 2 units of Zorse Riders with Lords of Dragonstone. And Mickey's running one of his classic 4 Raiders, 3 Trappers, unit of Spear Wives with Jarl and what else is the other thing? Oh, so he's obviously got Hallmark Commander, NCU's. Yeah,
Bannerman.
yeah. I mean, there's no reason not to take him because he's 0 points, isn't he? Right. So we're going to see some movement from the first unit of Zorse Riders here. That was their free maneuver. And then we have their actual move. So we're just seeing a march.
March, sit behind the palisade, ready
Yeah.
for next turn.
Yeah. So do you think he's going to try and stop Mickey from using, from claiming that objective by engaging with that unit of trappers?
I mean, in a perfect world, you'd have the Zorse Riders go very late in the turn, close to the end of it as you can, and then activate, charge, whittle down the ranks to the point in which you. That's the part. It's cavalry versus infantry. Like getting those ranks low enough is hard enough. Is quite hard to do.
Well, it's not against trappers, but
I mean, yeah, even against trappers, it's
But
he's
what?
got to kill 8 models. Morale. Yeah, he probably does it. So I think if he can just contest to stop that 3
So
score,
he
while
doesn't.
he's getting the 3
He
score.
doesn't need to contest it. It just says unengaged. So if
Oh,
all he has to
then
do is engage all he has to do is engage the unit. So interestingly though, we didn't see Mickey use these traps on the Zorse Riders there, which I'm not sure why because there's nothing else that anybody.
because he wouldn't be able to trigger it at the point they started their move.
It doesn't have to be the start. It doesn't have to be the start. It's just
Is it just any point in the movement?
yeah. So when an unengaged enemy within long range moves, so it doesn't say start begins its move. It just says moves.
Thank you, Carlo, for backing me up in the chat.
It does have to
Apparently,
restart.
it does have to start its movement within 12. So that'll be why then. Which does mean the Zorse Riders
Oh,
will be
okay.
taking.
Oh well, that makes a big difference to some of the games that I've played. Good. So with what you were saying about the Zorse Riders and potentially activating them late on in the round, you know, one of the things that's going to not play into though is the fact that there's such a huge activation advantage on Mickey's side.
Yeah, Mickey's always going to have three or four activations on top after those Zorse Riders activate.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to retaliate. It's whether or not the Zorse Riders can position in a way where the retaliation is limited. He's going to get hit in response. So can potentially like the unit of Mance raided Wardens at the minute, can they get into a position where they get in the way of potential charges? Maybe just belt it up the board, position in a weird way, so you kind of block getting as much things in there as possible.
Yeah.
It depends whether they get manced early enough. Maybe you just activate them super early, just belt them up the board to cause problems.
So I think we just saw the free attack coming from Lady Val. Yep. So that's a pass on the panic test, but lost 3 wounds, so that's a horse, which actually went relatively well for Mickey. As far as board state goes at the moment, we've got quite a classic, you know, cavalry flank. It's almost like we're playing Total War. We've got big line of tough infantry in the middle. We've got 2 fairly mobile cavalry units on the side. This palisade, although a good placement from Mickey, the way he's ended up with this objective, it's going to be quite difficult for him to hide that unit. I'm not sure if I would maybe have liked to see Val coming back onto to give the horse effect and maybe move that unit sort of away a little bit, just to try and deny a charge, but difficult to say really. We're just seeing a lot of movement up the board now.
I mean, Zorse Riders, where is that?
We've got 7 dice on 3s at top rank, 5 dice on 3s after that.
I mean, the first activation of the Baratheon stuff has to be this turn. So Melisandre straight onto Moneybags, heal up the Zorse Riders so that they've got no chance of hitting sort of 1 rank left and only rolling that 3 dice. Immediately take out Harmer's unit in the process. And then that way you're safe because it's a 1 in 3 chance. But if they get activate, try and go in, lose that horse, lose that extra rank. Like 3 dice into a unit Freefolk. Sure, Freefolk melt, but it's a little bit more ropey at that point. The retaliation quite easily take him out.
So it goes from 7 to 5, so they lose 2 dice. But is it with the Lords of Dragons one? Is it when another friendly unit within long range? Yeah. So Mickey, you know, targeting that unit denies that sort of order. And how much are Lords of Dragonstone? Do you know? To 2 points.
I think they're a point. Yeah, because they take the unit of champions of the not champion. Yeah, champions of the stag to 11 points.
11. Yeah. That's a fairly sound investment, really. So Mickey,
the mission that just came down was pretty good.
Yeah. So this mission, review this mission at start of any turn, score 1 victory point this round each time an enemy fails a morale test. So Mickey's actually choosing to ditch the one for units dying, point for every unit dying, for a point for every time a unit fails a morale test. I'm not sure that is. I really think JJ can score more points from that than he can from destroying units.
I think it might actually be even either way because he's only got he's maybe got 3 or 4 that he could get out of it this turn, and that's if everything kind of goes his way. So that's Melisandre onto Crowns and 2 charges, 1 from each of the Zorse Riders. So assuming they all failed, that would be the full top.
Yeah. So the way I'm seeing this is we're going to see if this is trying to capitalize on it. Melisandre on crowns is going to cause 2, and then you could definitely get 2 charges off with your Zorse Riders. I mean, that would probably not put you in the best position in the world. So there we go. Melisandre on crowns. We're going to see the zap. Hopefully, we're going to see a dead unit of trappers. Well, not hopefully, because Mickey's an NRG host, and I don't want him to lose. But in a completely sort of non-biased world, we're hoping to see that Harma unit get zapped and die, because that's really what one of the main driving forces behind the list. That the ability to recycle cards. And her order to give all those extra dice. So that's a fail currently, and the unit dead. So we can bring units back, but we can't bring attachments back. So that's Harma done for now. Oh well, for good. And we're looking at the actual zap now coming at a -2 because of the corpse pile. And we're going to see potentially another few models lost here, and another point for JJ coming from that secret objective. Yep, so that's another fail, and that's another 4 models lost, and that's a second point scored from that objective. It's interesting. So let's see, where does Mickey start? Does Mickey try and heal up? Does he bring Jarl on and try and get a sneaky charge off behind a unit of cavalry? Yeah, so he's going for the heal. We're seeing Mance come on. Who's going to influence? Okay, so the full unit of Zorse Riders, so they're currently -1 dice, I think. Was it -1?
-1 dice, -1 move.
1 move, yeah. So they're down to 5 move and 6 dice, followed by 4 on the second rank. Yeah, Carlo. So, I see where you come from. However, it's going to be difficult for Mickey to get those units up onto those. So if realistically, if JJ just decides to stand still here, or even play a more defensive. So just as well as anybody, you win the game by scoring points, not by killing stuff necessarily. And oh well, okay, never mind. So he's playing completely.
There you go. The Warden's belting it up the board just after the field.
But still, I mean, that's a relatively big charge still, regardless. So I mean, he's forgetting that there's Lady Val and the horses on the board. So
Mickey is going to be able to force at least some morale checks this turn.
Yeah.
Because you've got unit Zorse Riders on each side that are probably going to come into combat. Mikey's going to have retaliations available because of the activation advantage. Zorse Riders, they're probably going to be in the flanks, or even if they're in front, they start at 7. So there's a decent chance that he's going to start failing that. So we could see a situation where Mickey breaks even, or potentially overscores, because of course this objective that he's got Freefolk trappers on, he can just wait, leave that activation until his very last, and then just walk out of combat and just say, okay, I'm going to walk out an inch from you and I'll score 3, you don't engage me. That's probably the big thing, and then we could just immediately we're going to probably, would it be that one? Yeah, we might see the morale test being replaced.
I think that would be sensible for Mickey to replace that. I think,
or he could do this where he can't take a
yeah,
charge.
so that's exactly what Mickey's done now. So what he's doing is he's very cleverly decided to stop that unit from being able to charge, from being able to charge the unit of trappers. The only thing that he can do though is he could put Shiva straight down at the swords, destroy that palisade, and then and go from there. because you know that's taken one of the problems out of the way. That would be a front charge, though, and that's not really what he wants, is it?
I mean, he was going to get a front charge, like due to the either he destroys the palisade and he gets a front charge, or he even with the maneuver, it was going to be impossible to get a flank.
Yeah.
Like, I think Freefolk into the front's not the worst thing in the world.
No. But so we've only got two wounds left on this on the second rank of this unit as Horse Riders, anyways. So we're probably going to see the average of 2 wounds on a D3. So we're probably going to see a 5 dice unit of Horse Riders instead of a 7 dice unit coming in here. But we're just waiting to see. So this is a perfect example of one of the problems of facing an activation and a list that out activates you so much. So what did we decide? He had 4 more activations in total, 3 more combat, 1 more NCU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's 8 to 7 at the minute because of the unit that's off the board and the Lost Palmers unit. So he will have 2 activations. No, 1 activation off on him if he went first.
Yeah, but in total, so board state, so we've got 7 versus 10, so it's 3 extra activations. It's not a small amount, you know what I mean? So Mickey's still able to play that slow game where he's forcing JJ to show his hand before he commits, which is obviously one of the hard things to do. We've lost a unit from Mickey's side, haven't we? So that hadn't activated, so that does level the playing field a little bit.
And you've got Jarl's unit that's not currently on the board, so it doesn't have its activation. So it's working a little bit in JJ's favour. But obviously that unit will come on the board at some point, and also Mickey has the ability to bring units back to life.
Yeah, so Carlo, the counter charge risk is always there, isn't it? Which is when you play facing the Baratheons, it's always a bit of a problem. However, I don't think it would be a small charge. So I think they have to pivot. Obviously, and it's probably going to be a 4 or a 5. And you know as well as I do that wardens are not fast. So we've seen Lady Val go on to the horses. We've got a free manoeuvre on this unit. We're now seeing. So what happened there?
JJ took horses and manoeuvred the
Oh right, sorry.
sentinels that are not on the red objective, and the response was to immediately shoot the unit as Horse Riders on the side who have already taken wounds.
Roger.
So Mickey can sneak a couple through. I think it's on that unit as Horse Riders. I'm hoping it is.
Yeah, so we've got 1 hit, I believe. Yeah, which is a fail. Yeah. So hopefully Mickey can score some points from the secret mission here.
Yeah.
So looking for a 7, I believe. And that's a fail, and that's another 2 wounds. So we're going to see, like we were talking about before, the Horse Riders are down to 5 dice now. And unfortunately, we know that Baratheon cards only really work for extra dice whilst you're engaged, not on the charge. So it sort of, that rules out anything fancy with a charge, shall we say. And again, we're seeing the attack come against a unit with the Lord of Dragonstone. We're going to see the traps set off here as well. D3 wounds. Oh dear me, an extra 3 wounds. So realistically, Steer's got the chance of killing this unit before the end of the game. Before the end of at the end of the round, which is fairly nasty.
It'll leave it on 2 wounds, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But yeah, he could have all of this all this could have been mitigated at the start of the round. If he just, like, I get that you want to score the 2 VPs from Melisandre, but if you take the money bags, you heal that unit up to full. It doesn't go down. It doesn't go down the rank. You probably have to then immediately activate it. Oh, never mind. Sorry, he hadn't actually taken the wins.
No,
So,
no,
yeah,
no, no. Yeah, yeah,
it could kill it at the
yeah,
end of
yeah,
the
yeah.
round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I think he's. I think he might already be a little bit in trouble, which is not a good place to be.
And I know, so if you're thinking about the psychological aspect of this game, as a player playing a smaller list like that, it's really hard to keep your person. So this is something I've personally found, and I don't know if people in the chat can echo this, but playing a list with such a big wall of bodies, regardless of how rubbish you think they are, or whatever, this big wall of bodies really can make you sort of like double take, and you start like overthinking things, and it's just it can be difficult. Honestly, so the Rose Knight list, I think, probably would have done better in this matchup. I don't think this list is going to be a huge. Taking this list over the Rose Knight list is going to be a huge advantage. Um, it just seems strange. It's true psychology. Yeah, John. Honestly, it really is. So I think a lot of the game plan of Freefolk is trying to position yourself so that you can start making your opponents second guess themselves, or force them into bad decisions, because there's less of a immediate combat threat, um, in the sense that, yeah, they're not like, they're not going to be tearing through people with heavy lance and 9 days with critical blow and sundering like you've got on your cavalry, but there's just so many of them taking up a lot of space on the board, and every time you think about a charge, you've got to think about the other 2 units that are potentially going to charge you for it. So yeah, difficult one. It is a difficult one, and I've good players can totally work that out, and that they can take the turns, and they can not let the game beat them. But I think if somebody's less experienced, or if they're maybe trialing out new lists, or they're not 100% sure about something, it can be really difficult. And I feel like might be something that we're seeing here. I feel like that could potentially be a little bit of unsurety about Zorse Riders and Lord of Dragonstone and all that kind of stuff, especially with the Wardens. I mean, I would probably rather see Cutthroats than Wardens. I know he's probably went for like a little bit of survivability, but there's very little damage potential other than Melisandre on the board. If you think about it, there's no real heavy hitters.
I mean, Wardens do hit. They hit probably better than other 5-point sort of defensive units, and they can tank damage like
So
very well.
they've got seven dice on a 4+. So the 4+ is a big problem.
They can, but if they can also weaken and convert it immediately vulnerable, which
Yep,
is
they
brilliant.
can. Yeah, they can.
I think one of the things that you like going into this matchup when your opponent's got this many just units and bodies on the board, you almost have to accept that, okay, if I get the jump on him, I'm gonna get retaliated on. So my options are, I can either just very much like Baratheon players want to do, walk up and say, right, you have to charge me, so I'm going to get all my card effects off, or I just have to be maybe a little bit devil may care with it, go in, hit you, hopefully do a lot of damage in the initial exchange, and then let a unit of raiders charge me in the side, because ultimately it's still just a unit of raiders. I think it's like getting over the psychological effect. Also, letters are still open in a Baratheon match. Let's just take a minute to appreciate that.
Yeah, but this is what I was saying about earlier on, though, isn't it? So Mickey doesn't have to take that. Doesn't have to spend the time, or he doesn't have to force that that zone because he knows that both of JJ's NCUs are activated now, and he has no danger of that being taken. That activation's there for when he wants it. Again, controlling the tempo of the match. So he might potentially want to at some point take that for the letters, but if opportunity for a more useful use of the zone, i.e. Val turning into a free move, comes up, he can do that at his leisure. He doesn't have to worry about it being sniped by an opponent's NCU. So definitely, I think 3 NCU versus 3 NCU is I mean, if he's all really interested in it, like the stats behind it, check out A Song of Ice and Fire stats. So there's a lot of work being done by Carlo and Mickey around activation advantage and NCU number, and the numbers are pretty telling. Being out activated is usually bad for you, and not having enough NCUs is pretty bad for you as well. Don't get us wrong, there's some lists that just thrive on 2 NCUs, but in really hyper-competitive scenes, it's very difficult to compete with. It's very easy to say this about Freefolk when they've got as many points as they want, really, but,
It's Carlo undoubtedly correct me in chat in a second when he hears this, but I think, because we talked about it on the second podcast, I think it's something when you're 2 activations up on your opponent, your win rate goes up by about 80% or something ridiculous like that. Obviously, that's completely matchup independent, skill independent, everything else skill independent, but the numbers are that crazy. And Starks were like hyperinflating that at the time as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But due to the stock, you're talking about the stocks affecting the stats in the competitive scene quite a lot because they played so much. Something that we need is more people to sign up to Song of Ice and Fire stats to continue contributing to it, so that we can start seeing even wider breakdowns of the information. So we're seeing a charge from Stannis' unit into a unit of trappers. Stannis grants critical blow at these guys, so we're going to be seeing 7 dice on 4 pluses, but 6s count as 2, and he rolled a 4, so he's getting his rerolls as well. That should be interesting. Let's see what they do. So potentially we're going to see another failed panic test as well, which would be good for JJ.
Yeah, I think this is what JJ needs to do at this point. He needs to try and get a decent lead on the objective points early now, while he's still got everything on the board, and then hold on to it and just chip score most turns. If you can get a big lead now because he's guaranteed 3-3, so that'll cancel each other out. But if you can get 2 or 3 ahead and then just constantly score 2 or 3 a turn, he should be on for a win.
Yeah.
Or whether or not he can do that against this many units is a different matter.
Oh God.
Oh, that was a bad route.
So luckily, critical blows has sort of been a semi-redeeming factor for him. He's got 5 hits out of 7, but that could have been a lot better, that's for sure. So we're seeing 2 fails because Raider's skin is very, very tough. Oh, 3 fails. I thought there were 5 ups. Oh, it's the trappers. They're 6+. Sorry, yeah, it's not. Yeah, and that's a failed panic test with max damage. Not ideal for Mickey, and another point there for JJ. Just like you said, getting those chip points in.
And even with the activation advantage, JJ has got this charge off at a point when every unit around it has already activated. So he's not going to get an immediate retaliation, and it's going to be quite hard for some of these units on the.
So remember, one of Homer's cards allows a charge as a activation. I can't remember if it's just when you replace the horses though. Can anyone in chat tell us?
If you give me 2 seconds, I'll bring it up on War Room just to make sure. Not War Room.
War Council.
War Council. Thank you very much.
War Room's the War Machine one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bought that, because I started playing War Machine and I bought War Room, and then you pay for it, you pay for your cards or whatever, and then it disappeared off my phone and the App Store. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. So it's faintly maneuver, and it's when you claim the horse's tactic zone.
Right, okay.
One combat unit may immediately charge. If they are successful, place them in the closest flank to the defender.
Cool. So, we've seen, so just as I was talking about earlier on, Lady Val held on to that activation because she's now decided that she wants to take that activation as a movement instead of granting the cards. You know, we all know that tactics cards are good. Freefolk not so much, not as useful. And one of the things that Mickey might suffer from now is he doesn't have Homer on the board now to give those extra dice on flank attacks. But I mean, he's poised now for an attack. What I'm wondering is he going to make a charge and try and generate some VPs, or is he going
I
to
think he's going to charge this unit of wardens
uh,
that are on the objective. Try and connect with them so he can engage and stop that 3 score.
so I believe
Unfortunately,
he tried and failed, yeah. And this is going to potentially be another VP for. Ouch, yep, that's another full damage panic test and another VP for JJ. That didn't work in Mickey's favour. I don't think he made a bad decision. I probably would have done the
No,
same
I think
thing.
100% that was the right. Because
Yeah,
if you fail, you give your opponent 1 VP, but if
yeah,
you succeed, you deny your opponent 3 VP,
yeah.
which is massive.
Okay.
Let's see what mission comes out. And if the Zorse Riders get blown up by sticks.
No, he's playing no skin changes at all. And that's strange because, so we were talking about this before. He wildcard, he did get crit blow. That's what turned his. Or did Mickey only roll? Oh, yeah, Mickey only rolled 3 dice instead of the 5. Actually, that's a good point. Only horse
The
and
Zorse
soldier.
Riders live.
So it's charge from the Zorse Riders.
No, it's the card coming off effect.
Oh, right, sorry. Had this unit of Zorse Riders activated on the other side?
Yeah, I think they just
Because
sort of model.
they're still in the same place that they were.
Oh, yeah.
So when you card, and this one's chosen by JJ, reveal this mission at the start of any turn, score 1 victory point this round each time you attack an enemy from the flank or rear. So what do you think he's going to replace? I think he should replace the 3 points from a secret mission objective.
Yeah.
Because Mickey's going to be in his face now, tying up that, and even if he just ties up that unit, he's doing what he needs to do. He's also got Jarl that can just appear from the back of the board and charge that unit from behind. So let's see what he removes. Interesting. Yep. So I think that personally, and I'm no expert, but I think that was a mistake. So Mickey is almost guaranteed to keep that 3 points every turn.
Yeah, Mickey's guaranteed to score 3 over here because I don't think retaliation is something that he's going to worry about.
Nope.
Like,
and I think even if this unit of raiders gets in here and gets destroyed, I would be unsurprised if we saw Jarl coming in from this side at the back. The only thing that might cause is the Zorse Riders to turn around and charge, which would be unfortunate for him. But still, I don't think it would. I don't think it would be a massive problem.
I think it's completely fine. You can bring Jarl on from the back using horses. The Zorse Riders turn round. Even if they charge Jarl's unit, you've still got a unit sat next to this unit of wardens.
So you've got two units that are right next to that unit of wardens that can charge just to keep it engaged, which is the ideal situation for Mickey. So we're going to see Mickey put so discard.
Yeah, sorting out his cards.
So discard, and there's too many. Discard and endless horde. Drawn back up 2, so we're probably going to see one of Homer's cards in the So they get force march, start around one friendly enemy unit, sorry, one friendly infantry unit makes a free march, becomes weakened. So who do we see make the march? Oh, we're going to see this unit of raiders over here. No, we're not. Is it pivot and march?
Yeah, pivot then make a march.
Perfect.
So
So it looks like he's trying to. I'm wondering if he's trying to.
I think he's trying to position in the flank of the wardens.
Yeah. So he's potentially causing himself a bit of mischief with the old. With the. There's Horse Riders at the back there, but just doing some tray placement to see if we can get an inch away from each.
So you can get a tray in that gap. It's just getting the fine like pivot to get the exact inch that he needs on either side.
Yeah. Cool. So we're just waiting for the next turn to start. I guess I'll do my little spiel that everyone hates so much, talking about how I would love it if you use your Amazon Prime subscription to subscribe to the channel and tell us how much you like us. If you do like us, always open to feedback as well. If there's anything that you would like to let us know about, if you think you can give us any hints, tips, or requests. So we're seeing this flank charge there. Strange, I thought Mickey might have aligned all the way over to the side. The only reason you might not be doing that is for yours. So what we've got, and this is a weakened unit, remember. So we've got 4 hits currently. You can see the
Reroll the weekend.
so we've still got 2 hits, which isn't, it's not woeful. 4+ saves for the wardens, just because they've got. Is this the master? No, this isn't the master warden unit. So let's see what we've got. So that's 2 fails and a panic
2
test.
wounds.
2
Panic check at
wounds.
-1.
Yep. So that's a 7+ for our Baratheon friends. And that's another fail. So that's another 2. It's only 2 models, but it's point for Mickey. So Mickey's actually closed the gap quite quickly here.
Also, I like this play purely because it's very much like what Carlo talks about a lot. This is putting pressure on your opponent. So he maneuvers in there, charges this unit in the side, and now he ends his turn and goes, okay, you have to now answer my threat.
Yeah.
Like the onus is entirely on you.
So
to
what I want to see,
about this.
what I want to see is, I would like to see that unit as Horse Riders activate, before it dies. Although is it within long range of? That's one thing we can't measure, isn't it?
I think he purposely maneuvered to get out of long range so he
Right.
could at least.
Because if he's not within long range of that, I would like to see them activate before.
But there is a trapper unit in the center that's almost definitely within
Oh
12 of it.
yes, yeah.
So, yeah.
So Melisandre could deal with those quite easily.
So
We could also see Melisandre dealing with with another Melisandre crowns up, we could see another 2 points. So remember, it's potential for 2 points. It's interesting that he's actually done that, because so the healing up those 3 wounds, I don't feel like it's caused a huge deal of survivability. Sorry, it hasn't stopped an inevitable death. I mean, fair enough, 6 dice from the side, 4+ saves, 50% of your saves. So you're probably going to be hitting getting hit 3 times, saving 1 or 2 of them. So even with a failed morale test, you shouldn't die to that. So I would have been more interested to see Melisandre, because I mean, let's be honest, Melisandre's there for a reason. I would just be taking models off, one of the Baratheon units and doing some zapping. You could outright kill the trappers over here, which would free up your Zorse Riders, and then you could do a load of damage to another one of the Raider unit.
His activation should have just been Mel straight onto swords. Blow up. I mean, if you want to blow up a unit, blow up the trappers in the center, so that Zorse unit's a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Or on the unit that's in your side, and then immediately just whack it in the face, clear them off. Instead,
But remember, we're getting points for panic checks as well.
Yeah.
So we're seeing. What did he just roll there?
I took
the free attack. So free attack D3 hits. So this is the problem that I'm talking about. You know, we're seeing. Why did he get 7 points there? Why did his points go up?
Um,
Oh, he just failed another panic test.
Yeah.
Oh, and because he's attacking in the flank. Yeah.
Yes.
So we've got ours as a fury. Attacked but not destroyed. Free attack on the attacker, doesn't have the crowns, so it's just going to be a 3 dice attack. And we've got 3 hits, reasonable. That's 3 fail saves, and we're going to have a look at a panic test here as well for Mickey. Failed panic test as well, so 3 wounds plus another 3 wounds. Dangerously close to losing that unit. So, to me now, Mickey must take basically take the crowns, because if he doesn't, he's going to lose two units to it.
Yeah, double Mel bomb to kill off 2 units quickly.
So that trapper unit and the Raider unit are both very close to dying. I would have Mel on the swords. So this is the Douglas agrees with Colo, Rhaegar agrees with me. Colo agrees with Douglas, Rhaegar agrees with me. I think the Mel double zap is a better option, purely because after that the free swords makes very little difference to Mickey, because he's got the only thing that's in contact that you can attack with is some trapper unit as a unit of trappers. In fact, no, they would be dead, so you wouldn't be able to use it anyways. The best that you could get out of it is a free maneuver. If you want to do, you could take the free maneuver and reposition that second unit of trappers, which would be annoying, granted, for those the unit of Zorse Riders to load of Dragonstone. But yeah, so we're going to see if the double Melisandre bomb pays off here. Who do you think? Yeah, so we're going to see. Obviously, you don't want to take it off Stannis' unit.
Yeah, take out the 3 warded. I think you should go Mel onto the central trappers, and the generic bomb onto the 2 raiders. So I think that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing Mel bomb straight into the center trappers.
Interesting. I would have probably went for this unit and freed up that unit for a charge, but.
If you Mel bomb the central because they have 5, you're almost guaranteed to kill them.
Yeah. So I was talking about this, but we could destroy this unit altogether. So I'm saying.
Oh.
So what?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering. I know they haven't activated yet, but I'm just wondering why it would be the better play to take them down, because they're only there to provide traps, really.
Because there's a good chance the Zorse Riders can get the Zorse Riders that are behind can get a rear charge, so that'll get you a VP, taking them to 11.
Something that's quite interesting as well. We've seen 2 attacks now come from this unit of raiders here, and he hasn't used the free charge from the Zorse Riders at all. Now, to me, yes, you are going to take D3 traps, but once you've done that, you're at a good chance of doing at least a little bit of damage. And this comes down to my theory of he's potentially not as experienced with this unit. as he might be with others. It just seems odd that he's taken two. But how's he going to attack them?
Because there's also riders that are sat on the other side of the bog.
Oh, you can't charge anyone. Yes, sorry. Yep, you're right. You're totally right. That's my mistake. It has to be the unit who attacked. However, he could have done a free maneuver and maneuvered this unit over this way. Although, yeah, and maneuver over this way and got him in for a side charge. So we're looking at JJ's turn now. JJ's currently on 10.
JJ potentially could close this out.
Yeah.
Well, it gets 12 in the next activation. Oh.
Is he within range?
I think he's within 12 with trappers on that unit of Exhaust Riders. Because that could have been the activation. Like you take their free maneuver, position them so they don't have to charge through the bog. They charge the raiders in the back. But if they're within 12, you can't take, obviously, well, you just die automatically. So
I think if he had have not, if he had have been a bit more aggressive and instead of positioning behind that palisade at the start and just got them straight forward and maintained line of sight, he wouldn't have had as much to worry about. But again, that's hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? So what JJ needs to do is maintain his point lead for this turn, and not allow Mickey to close the gap to less than 2. So we're seeing a weaken go down onto Stannis' unit and a free maneuver. Wondering if it might potentially be a retreat.
no, it's a.
Or did he place? He played the free charge.
So he's going to charge this unit of wardens, immediately go into their flank, which will give him another VP for the flank charge.
So it's a disorderly charge, yeah. Which really, at the moment, is inconsequential. He just wants the attack. It doesn't need to do any huge amount of damage.
So that'll take Mickey to 9. Mickey will almost definitely score 3 for the unit of trappers that are sat on the objective. So Mickey goes to 12 this turn. Is whether or not JJ can also go to 12 this turn.
So yeah, so Carlo, just as Doug said though, at the end of this turn, Mickey's auto scoring 3 because of one of the things that's still out. So regardless of the couple of panic tests that he's potentially going to force, that is why I wanted that unit of raiders to be killed earlier on, because they're currently stopping that unit of wardens from scoring the 3 points because it's engaged. So if that unit of wardens activates and kills them, then that might be alright, but I just didn't see the benefit of half killing a unit. So we've already seen one surrender and expose. Oh no, not surrender and expose. End of sword dropped, but I haven't seen the surrender and expose yet.
That is a pass morale test.
For the wardens, yeah. This is going to be quite close, actually.
It is a very tense turn. Like if JJ can free up that unit of wardens sat on the objective, he'll win.
Yeah.
If he can't, then there's a good chance that Mickey can take it this turn as well. So a lot of things sort of very much hang in the balance.
So two annoying things are if he activates the wardens and he does enough damage to destroy them, they won't get to take a panic test, which won't score him any VP.
But it would free them up.
For the 3 VP, yeah.
Yep.
But remember, there's always more activation. So for that to work, you would also have to charge the Zorse Riders into those raiders, into the trappers, so that they couldn't then charge the wardens afterwards. I think that unit of Zorse Riders is still locked in by that. I mean, he's only got one wound left, right?
He can't afford to act.
Well, he can't. Yeah. So
He
they're
can't
within. They're within. Yeah, they're 100% within. Yeah. So I don't know if that was just an error of judgment earlier on, but that unit basically cannot move now. So essentially, all you can do is sacrifice its turn, because otherwise it'll just die to. Oh, let's rank morale test and 3. Yeah. So we're still in the same boat. Again, I know I keep on talking about it, but look how well Mickey is controlling JJ's activations. He's saying you can use that unit as Horse Riders if you want, but if you do, they're going to die. If you want to activate that unit of Wardens, that's over here with the Warden, Master Warden, and charge to maybe try and get a panic test off, go for it, but you're going to get a side charge from the trappers, given probably a point for a morale test and the point for the side attack. He's the threat of the traps here is causing issues on this side, and he's scored. So what did he start the turn on 5?
Yeah, he's gone up 4 this turn on
Yeah.
line so far.
So he's made some fairly substantial jumps. Cole Melisandre's done very well. She's done, I think, pretty much max damage every time. Destroyed Homer's unit in 2 turns. So we're seeing okay. So we're seeing some D3 wounds from the traps. 3, ouch.
Yeah, it's the Zorse Riders on this side are maneuvering, so
Oh dear me. So that's
disorderly charge.
a disorderly charge with weakened and 7 dice, yeah. Okay, so we're hitting on 3s, so that's not terrible, but still, it's so conversationally, what does everyone think? What does everyone think of the Zorse Riders so far in this matchup? Let's see. So we've got 2 hits.
I am just going to cut in really, because this is super important. If this unit of Raiders survives this charge, like Mickey has this game, because he's still got Lady Bell. So this Lady Bell can activate, pull them out, retreat them out of combat, and then their actual activation, regardless of whether this unit of Wardens on the objective has killed the Raiders or not, can immediately go into the unit of Wardens, hit them, probably do no damage, but stop them from scoring 3 in return.
Which is why I wanted the panic test done to that unit of Raiders earlier on.
Yep.
So we've got a fail, with just 4 models.
There's 2 left, and 2 is going to be enough in this situation. Unless, what's the Baratheon card where you get to whack people back when they hit you?
Oh, is it Ours is the Fury? Last Stand. Last Stand.
Last Stand's the wipeout as the Fury. He's played one this turn. As is the Fury. So if he's got an As is the Fury in his hand, then that hugely changes it.
Is this for what? For the Wardens? Or for...
Yeah, for the Wardens. So the Wardens will activate, kill the unit of Freefolk Raiders, freeing them up. Val then activates, takes letters, but replaces it with horses.
Mm-hmm.
Unit of trappers engaged by the Source Riders retreats.
Yeah.
They retreat left. They then charge the Wardens, re-engaging the Wardens,
Yeah.
meaning the Wardens don't score.
But 3 dice on 5s, so unless he's got a surrounded and exposed somewhere.
I mean, it doesn't matter about killing. You're only trying to engage this unit, so it doesn't score. Because then Mickey will go to 12.
Oh, well, it does matter about killing because, like you say, if they kill the unit, they're not going to score the points from it. So the Hours of the Fury potentially would kill that unit of trappers if the unit didn't die. However, a last stand, even if it did kill the unit, it doesn't matter because they're not scoring the 3 VP from it.
Yeah.
Right, what we got? So what would you be doing? Would you be trying to force some VPs by doing some charges, or are you gonna?
I would now 100% just delay. So I would go with the trappers on the objective. I would activate them, and I would just say, okay, they don't do anything. They stand there. They're still trapping this unit, Zorse Riders, from being able to do anything. The unit that's next to them is blocking sort of the easy charge from the Wardens. Or even you could go with the Raiders next, put them in a position where they completely block the charge from the Wardens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's playing a swift advance as well, so he can potentially get into the flank of those Wardens for another DP.
Yeah.
I think from the look of it, he's going to be once he completes.
Yeah, he will be. Yeah.
So that then pins that Warden unit in place as well. So you're definitely going to score your guaranteed 3. He's going to be on 10, 13 at the end of the turn.
Oh, it looks like you can't actually make it. Yeah, so it looks like he didn't have the movement to get across. We're going to see a automatic charge.
No, I think they're trying to work out if he can get the positioning with a proxy train there. I don't think he's quite got the distance to do it. From the look of the measurement, it was 6.6, and they can only move
No,
6.
yes, that's right. Yeah, they've got the 26 because of the card Swift Advance.
5 standard and then up to 6 with the card. So.
Gruslug, welcome. I hope you're well.
I mean, at that point, I don't think you take the charge then instead. I think you use the Freefolk, the Raiders activation to just be annoying and stop the Wardens getting onto your trappers. Deny them a flank charge onto anything else that they could potentially get into.
So I've got Gruslug, who was one of my opponents in the NRG tournament in the chat there. So Gruslug, you've got 2 of my 3 favourite game modes in your top 3 as well. Feast. Did we play Dance with Dragons together? Was that me and you, like the Night Watch versus Stark? Because that was a pretty bloody match if it was. Oh, I played Clash. Okay. Oh yes, the Baratheon player. Yeah. Got you. Were you Canadian? Had some pretty cool Canadian opponents in this tournament. Actually, two of the guys that I played against were Canadian. Really nice.
There we go. We finally see the activation. Lady Val on to letters, allowing the Freefolk trappers to take a retreat.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just going to be set up for probably last activation this turn. Walk into the wardens and stop them from scoring if it's needed.
So yeah, it's interesting. The interesting four times resources in Batrep. So Grislug, who's a Baratheon player, was saying that he tried exhausting his courtney list, and they did give the stags a huge boost in speed and maneuverability. That they are lacking. You're right, they are lacking. But I don't know if it's just this game, but they've just really failed to shine. They've been really controlled, and the threat of traps is always really bad. But I think he had two lots of 3 damage from traps on the right hand side, which did a lot of damage to them. He also took a couple of ranged attacks and 2 failed panic tests. So he was, he's lucky they're still alive, really. But they just can't do anything. It's just to say go unit now.
Yeah, I think Mickey at the minute is 100% just trying to delay his turn as much as he
Of
can.
course, yeah, and as a Freefolk player, that is his right by
Carlo
birth.
pointed out in chat that there's a decent chance that this unit of trappers on the objective could potentially shift and be able to shoot the wardens inside for an extra bit cheeky BP.
He hasn't
if he,
properly done this. You're right.
yeah, if he does that shift, there's a chance that he might land in a situation where the Zorse Riders that are back get freed up, and then that's potentially 2 VPs given away.
So Mickey has absolutely no reason to move that unit now. That's a free kill, and he's in range. He should be in range for which might even be in his flank, a ranged attack. If not, he'll be able to shift and still stay on the objective, I believe, and make a flank attack into those wardens.
Because it was 11.9, the distance between them.
Yeah.
It's whether shift takes him out of range of that Zorse Riders.
But you would only shift forwards. You wouldn't shift anywhere else.
Yeah, good point actually.
Because he's going to be. He might actually not be on the side.
I was thinking potentially a lateral shift to get the
flank.
Yeah, to get the flank a bit better. Because that's the only reason you're doing it. You're not trying to kill the unit. You're just trying to get a few more cheeky VPs.
Yeah, I think that might take him out of range, to be honest with you. Because remember, you need to measure from the center of your air tray as well.
Oh, yeah, they are only short range, aren't they?
So I think we might be seeing the wardens. So Mickey could always, JJ could always try and bait the trappers by charging with that unit, like that, charging with that unit of wardens.
I think if he charges, Mickey's response is to shift with the just do nothing.
Do nothing, yeah, yeah, totally.
No, because a failed panic check at that point would take him to 12. So Mickey's going to have to get 1 point from somewhere.
No, because Mickey will score 3 from this unit at the end, anyways, won't he? So that's
yes, they go even on thing,
yeah.
And obviously,
and they need to win by 2. So I'm not entirely sure that he still needs to go over a bit further. Nah, he's just on that line there. So Mickey can probably still. Interesting.
I mean,
So he's just denying a flank. He's just denying a flank.
he has to go that side because if he puts it on the other side, he just gives up a flank.
So, you know, Mickey's showing a lot of restraint with those traps there.
Pretty big.
Oh my god, how did Mickey manage that? There's one more. One more, yeah.
But it is a save.
3 fails.
If he panics this panic check, it's pretty big.
Mickey's very good at failing panic tests, so
Oh, he's failed everyone so far, so maybe
yeah,
he can...
yeah,
Oh!
he can't pass. Yeah, he can't pass with a 1 ruled. It's a tricky one. This is very tricky. So Mickey goes even at the end of this turn, regardless of what happens
Yeah,
now.
regardless.
But he still has two attacks, 3 attacks to make, which are potentially failed VPs. He's also got a guaranteed side attack with the trappers onto the side of the Zorse Warriors here if he wants to. The Zorse Riders, sorry. So he could do a flank attack there. Do you know the funny thing about it is y'all's unit are still off the table.
Yeah, he's still not brought on this unit of spear wives. So here's the thing about the trappers on the Zorse Riders. It's guaranteed VP, but if he does that and the wardens have taken out the trappers, he loses the game in response because he can't then re-engage this unit of wardens.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's Mickey's got to. Oh, I don't know what the activation is that you take at the minute. Like the unit of trappers that are sat on the objective, they're staying there because they're doing their job. They're denying a score from the Zorse Riders.
It's tough. I would potentially just shuffle the trappers. But this move either wins or loses the match for him, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah. And I mean, it all comes down to there are 4 tactics cards in JJ's hands. So it's obviously about as the jury, but if there's a counter charge in there as well, that's Zorse Riders into the flanks of the Freefolk trappers when they go in to engage. Last stand. Like I don't think he's going to kill that unit of Baratheons, but yeah, one panic check either way will kind of decide the game at the end of it. So yeah, he activated the Raiders in combat and did nothing with them.
They were already activated.
Were they?
Yeah, so the charge at the beginning of the turn.
The Raiders into the Wardens on the left-hand side.
Oh, this unit, sorry, yeah.
The one that's just been charged. And now the response is the Wardens on the objective are going to plop the Raiders on the head, I think.
So, I mean, I would be tempted to just say go with the Zorse Riders over here, and just say, yeah, fair enough. That's my activation done. 3 hits.
Mickey wants this unit to die. If it's going to die, he wants it to die from the combat, not the morale check, which it does.
Right. So can Can he position himself in such a way that he can't be charged?
I don't think so. I think he can deny 50, but I mean, maybe with a no, even with the great pivot, I don't think he's going to be able to completely deny it.
Surely he's not moving up yet, no.
And the Lord of Dragonstone can still countercharge.
It can, if it has line of sight.
I think if there's no position that Mickey can engage this unit, the Lord of Dragonstone won't be able to see him.
If he pulls that unit back, there will be.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it is, yeah. If anybody wasn't here at the start of the stream as well, just push it again, why not? Another sample of our merch came. This one is the regular hoodie in the charcoal grey, and it's awesome. Fits really nice, it's really comfortable, nice and soft. And I think the regular hoodie is actually really quite cheap. But yeah, I'm impressed with everything I've had so far, and we've washed everything that we've got as well, and the print has stayed nice and crispy. So this is what I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see a bit of pivot which pushes that trapper unit to have to charge and align left, which means that the Zorse Riders are going to have a good view of them.
So Mikey does have one card left, and if it's feinting maneuver, he can win this.
Not this turn though, because the
oh no, feinting maneuver's on thing isn't. So never mind. I don't. Yeah, I think Mickey.
Rhaegar, thank you very much, mate. It's 3 months in a row. What a lad. Sorry, go on.
I think Mickey at this point can't win. If the free-throw trappers go in to stop the 3 score, they'll get countercharged by the Zorse Riders. The Zorse Riders probably wipe out that unit, but let's say for whatever reason they don't. It's going to be a flank charge, so that's immediately the score you want.
Zemnas, interestingly, has said that you can pivot to make that an impossible charge. That's what I was thinking, but I'm not sure how that could be.
I don't think you need. The point is that I don't think you need to make it an impossible charge. If those trappers charge the front of that unit of Baratheons, the likelihood is they're not going to be able to kill them. The Zorse Riders are going to charge in the flank, which is automatically
get a point for the point.
1 point straight away, and then they're probably going to kill that trappers in response because they're rolling 7 dice on 3s.
Yeah. What were the stats for Freefolk and Dance Dragons? No, sorry, Darwin's words in the tourney. Carlo is the stats man at Z4 Carlo. Grusa wants to know some DWW stats from NRG League. This Freefolk unit is trappers. Yep, so we've got Zorse Riders with Lord Dragonstone, Wardens, trappers, unit Raiders, unit of Wardens with Stannis, unit of Zorse Riders with Lord of Dragonstone, Wardens, Raiders, trappers. That's a Warden with a Master Warden over there as well. So he's trying to stay within. So has he managed to stay within 12? Is the real question.
Yes.
Yeah. and but he's still not in. He's still not in. Who went first this turn? So it was JJ first this.
No, Mikey
No, it was
was.
yeah. So it's JJ next turn. Do you think Mickey might be going for a table?
I mean, he has to stop his. He has to stop JJ from winning this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So these wardens have to be stopped from scoring.
Yeah.
And I don't think he can, unfortunately. If the game was to play out, I think he would have to try and play for the table, like bring on the unit that we haven't seen all game. Yeah, there goes traps into the Zorse Riders at the back.
Well, you didn't necessarily have to move the unit, so. So what's happening now? We've got no steer rolls to roll because the unit's dead. These Baratheon wardens haven't attacked yet. Yeah, the game is his to win, isn't it? The game is JJ's to win here. So we're looking to see if we can fit into so he can't, yeah. So this is what I was saying before. So the only thing that you can do is go to a front on charge, which is going to put him in perfect position for a counter charge from Zorse Riders, which would 100% seal his fate.
Across the log, there's a unit of Spearwives with Jarl in it, and they're sat off the board waiting to come on. But there hasn't been like a good opportunity to do it yet, I suppose.
I feel like Mickey missed a trick doing that this turn. I think that Jarl unit into the back of those wardens might have made a big difference.
Yeah.
Like we said, though, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? And I'm sure the manoeuvre that he took with it was important as well.
So there goes the charge. Now, if these Freefolk trappers put in absolute work and kill this Baratheon unit, then he can search forth.
So we're on three dice on fives. Remember,
he's got a wound, and then they go, and then he fails the panic check. Maybe. I mean,
it's a big ask. It's a big ask.
Oh yeah, we're in the land of huge asks here, but yeah, let's hope.
No, so that's a passed panic test, and I think that's game.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah. So we're going to see counter charge. So why doesn't he just use the order instead of the card?
No idea for that. Yeah, because it would have exactly the same effect. He hasn't got letters.
And you don't have to ditch the card, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, you're right. It's a fairly bloody match, though, isn't it? So we're looking at 7 dice from the Zorse Riders. I think they're just rolling it instead of having to do all the movement.
Yeah.
So we've hit. We need to reroll 2 dice.
He'll go to 16 if he wipes the unit, by the way. Not 15 in chap. So
one for hitting the side, yeah, and then 3.
And then 3 for clearing the thing off the
Yes, that's a unit there.
Yep. So 16-12.
So I think we're just going to try and maximise points here. We're going to go for the attack with Stannis' unit. It's a weekend, currently rolling 1 less dice because of Mance. It should be 6 dice, right? Not 7. Not 5.
Well, there's 7 on second rank.
Oh, they're on second rank, yep, sorry. So we've got 3 hits with critical blow. Oh, make you pass the panic test?
Unfortunately, too little, too late.
Yeah. It's a good swan song, though. See if they fancy answering a few questions. Cool. So just join the Discord channel.
I'll jump across.
Oh, hold on. They're not in a... Oh no, so never mind. They're in... they're not in Discord, they're in this.
Yes, aren't they?
Dun dun dun. Unmute, yes. And I need to go to sound options. What's the push to talk button?
It's the button that you push to talk. I need a little bit more context.
Which key is assigned to push to talk? Voice chat C. Hello. We aren't in the Discord that they are.
Hey.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
in-game?
yes.
Well, how did it look, Daryl?
Say again?
I was saying, how did it look from your vantage?
So it was very swingy, actually. I was quite surprised at how this last turn and a half played out. But it wasn't a bad surprise. It was very interesting. There was multiple points where we thought Mickey had it in the bag, and then obviously towards the end of this turn it started to tip. The scales tipped. So how do you think it went?
I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, I feel like, at least personally, I shouldn't have just given you the Zorse riders here pretty much for free with the free. I guess I'm used to, or I was thinking, oh, 3+, like we're pretty hardy, we can generally handle stuff, and I forgot, oh, these guys are glass. So I feel like that was a sacrifice. Like, as in, if he wasn't so scared of or pinned from the traps, he could have been running around causing mayhem. He just didn't lose as many wounds as he did.
Yeah, so that's something that we talked about in the chat. The Zorse riders seem to really be a bit of a non-object. I mean, I know they took a few wounds, so I suppose they were a bit of a damage tank, but do you think that maybe positioning or deployment affected how they were used, or?
That's a good question. I mean, I think deployment, generally speaking, you want to have them on the flanks. It's just, it's my move. It was the stupid move of going. I thought I would go up there and hide behind the thing for the palisade when, combat kind of came out, and then they just sat there and got
Pummeled.
I basically just fed that unit too.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah,
this is something I was confused about. I think I think tactically you were probably thinking in your head that you wanted to protect them with the palisade, but
Yes.
realistically you just hindered them. And I think Mickey got really lucky with his traps. He did a lot of damage with the traps, and you failed a couple of
Absolutely.
panic tests with it as well.
That was a absolutely tactical error, inexperience on my part, no question.
So this is something that I had questioned in the chat. I said sometimes when you use new units, you tend not to utilize them to their max. And is it the Zorse Riders, and specifically the attachment? Is that something that you used quite a lot before, or are they new to you? Or?
Very first time right now.
Right, got you,
So,
got you.
in case it wasn't clear.
Yeah. There's another thing that I noticed as well is when you were using Stannis's unit, you never used his crit blow either.
Oh no, I didn't.
But-
As you can see, the first time I've actually even played this list, period.
Got you. But I mean, don't get us wrong. There was a lot of things that I think some of the more deliberate turns that you took later on were very well taken. And Melisandre really came through for you this game, like
Oh yeah.
mega well. But so
time.
we'll chat to Mickey. So Mickey, how do you feel? What do you think about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from JJRockin. Obviously, he played, and he understood where the objective points and the victory points were coming from each turn, and he played well into that. So obviously, that's really well played. But I'm very annoyed because I think I threw the game. As you guys on stream will know, I did have Swift Advance in hand.
Oh, no, we don't know that because we haven't got your cards. But yeah, Swift Advance
I
would
did
have.
play it. I played it at one point and put it back in my hand, which is why I thought you might have spotted it.
Oh, sorry, over on the left here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the problem is, I made a mistake. When this unit charged Stannis, I should have Swift Advanced it and then charged him in the flank. Instead, I used the using maneuver card from taking the horse zone. That was a mistake because I had both cards, and I could have used the feinting maneuver to this unit in the flank over here, and I would have been one more VP up, which seems like a small difference, but it would put me in a much more favourable position in terms of turn order.
Definitely. Oh, dear
I
me.
made a huge mistake on that. I also should have I should have just brought the Spearwives on. There's another thing I should have done this turn, to be honest.
So that was my next question. I don't know if somebody's got the stream playing through their speakers, but if you have, if it's possible, could you mute it just because we're getting a bit of feedback. But so that's one thing I was going to ask you, Mickey. The Spearwives, I think, could have made this turn a big swing for you. If those Spearwives had have ended up in the back of those Wardens. Even if they didn't kill them and they just held that point, stayed engaged, that would have been either equals or victory to you. Oh no, it would have put you 1 point ahead.
I'd go up 1 point for a flank charge or rear, and he wouldn't be controlling the objective invested, so he'd drop 3 points. So it'd be 13-13,
Yeah.
and that's assuming he passes the morale check, which he may have failed.
Yeah.
I honestly just, I really messed up what I should have done on this last turn because I got involved with something I shouldn't have got involved in the middle. So, I mean, what it came down to me, I think, ultimately though, is the panic objective came up, and I played badly with that. But it also came up in a turn where it was going to be very hard to disengage.
Got you.
And you know, if you look at most of his points. Maybe he did one or two flank charges probably throughout the entire game. But he gets 2 points from nuking Harmer from space, which I about like that's just the game.
Yeah, so there's something that we identified at the start is Harmer's quite a good engine for this list because you want to be recycling those cards, and losing 7 wounds on the first activation was nasty.
You know, it is, but that's playing against Mel, right? I came into this game so I expected to play the game without Harmer. So people who are looking at it saying, "Oh my God, Mel's really good," it's like, well, yeah, but the reason she was this game was not that. The reason she was good is because she was an extra way of generating points on Freefolk.
Yeah, so she's been scoring minimum 1, potentially 2 VPs a turn from the fact that she causes so much in the way of panic. Yeah.
But yeah, I could have played that to last turn. I really messed up that last turn and could have put the JJRockin. I don't know whether I'd have won the game, but I definitely think I could have put up a better fight. I think I was clutching at straws, and it felt like I was clutching at straws. And I don't know how JJRockin felt because
I absolutely feel this was not even close. Like I was very nervous of losing this game. I thought you were playing really, really well. One of the things that I know you were saying about getting the Jarl on the board is I believe it was turn 2. Yeah, I absolutely did not want the horse, but I thought, oh, this is an opportunity to just take a unit off the board.
Yeah.
For the most part, in general, seeing as you have 8. But I absolutely thought, yeah, if you did a Pierce, say, down here and charge from the back my objective unit, yeah, no question. That would have been really bad.
Yeah.
I think we're
I
really
should have done it.
we're really demonstrating the power of trappers as well, because you really controlled certain areas just with the threat of traps, and that unit as Zorse Rider's been locked down for 2 turns. It was pretty intense as well. I mean, it just became a pass card, really, didn't it? Because
Totally.
nothing that could do. And one of the things that was spoke about as well is the 3 NCU versus 2 NCU matchup. Mickey was always on the front foot with that because he's not forced to take the last spot. Once they've came to the conclusion of your 2 going down. So I think Mickey did a really good job of controlling activations and threatening the posturing, but I think some rules didn't go his way, and again, like something he's mentioned there, the forgetting to bring, or not forgetting, but choosing to omit the Jarl unit for maybe a later turn didn't quite work in his favour this time, but I've seen it work in his favour before, so it's not. It's learning experience, isn't it? But I think that's one of the caveats of Darkwind, Dark Words, or any of the secret missions is the point scoring can come thick and fast, and it can take you by surprise. I think sometimes, whereas you've usually got a bit of tempo to a game when people are scoring 5-6 points a turn, it's quite difficult to mitigate that when you end up at a bit of a disadvantage. But thank you.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah, thank you. We enjoyed the stream. Certainly gave us a lot to talk about, and I hope everyone enjoyed. I think we'll leave it. Is any last comments from you guys or anything?
Not really.
I just wanted to say thanks again for the game and yeah, for involving me in the stream.
Nice one. Okay, thanks, and we'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, take care, Mick. Thanks for the game.
Bye.